Hello everyone. This is Apex Predator. And sorry for it being like a week since the last time I've sent out a video. Sorry about that. So, this is What If Deku was transported to Danmachi, part 4? Wait. So yeah, I just quickly checked, sorry for the pause. So, this is the 4th episode of that. So, we last left off with Ainz Wallenstein walking around the Loki Familia mansion. She comes across the library, which the door is open. Unusual, because most doors in the mansion are closed for privacy purposes. So she walks in and sees Riveria and Deku talking to each other and theorizing magic to each other. He's wondering if he can actually use magic, and because he is not technically a human from this world, but a human from a different world. Humans from this world might have a different genetic code, because in Danmachi, I had some Coke Zero, not cocaine, because then that's illegal, but yeah. So, in Danmachi, some magics are genetic to each race. So they're theorizing if he can use human genetic magic. And she just watches the scene of those two. They seem very happy, and Deku starts muttering like we all used to know him. Well, know him as Deku. So she walks out and does her own business. We cut back to Deku about 10 minutes before Ainz walked in. Deku walks out his room with his normal clothes, and Riveria stops him and brings him to the library, which takes about a minute. Sorry guys, I've just had a big workout session, so I'm a bit out of breath. Sorry about that. So they talk about, she explains magic to him, and she explains human magic to see if he can do something. And he thinks then, well, after she explains what and how magic works in this world and all the different races and spells that she knows, then that takes the rest of the 9 minutes, and he starts muttering as Ainz is looking at him. And then she walks away, and Riveria stops him and says, "Do you think you can do this spell?" And she does a incantation, and she does some wind magic. Let's just call it whirlwind, to make a small tornado. Deku does the same incantation. Like, he gets it wrong the first time, but then she does it again so he can learn how to do it. The second try, he does it and creates a slightly bigger whirlwind, because he doesn't exactly know how to control magic. He doesn't know how strong it's supposed to be. But he he set his magic output to a very low, but not low enough to match Riveria's, and they carry on theorizing. And because his all for one, no, not all for one for all finger flick bullets, the Air Force, I think that was called. Yeah, so he thinks maybe he can do air bullets with magic instead, and enhance his one for all Air Force flicks. I'm just gonna call them Air Force flicks, yeah. So he sorry, I'm just pausing a lot in myself. So yeah, so they go over a few things, and he selects a few different ones that Riveria knows. Some short incantation like Firebolt, and because of the whatchamacallit, sorry. Because of the trip down with Bet in the previous episode, he has quite a lot of money, so Riveria and him go out to get some grimoires. He knows how to use magic, like incantations that take a while, but he wants to learn some single word magic, like Firebolt, like short phrase. And he gets his hand on a grimoire that is 300,000 Valis. I'm not sure how much the currency is, but yeah, and I heard that grimoires are very expensive, so I'm not exactly sure. So 300,000, and I don't know exactly how it works in Danmachi, how grimoires work, but I'ma just say while he's reading this and he goes to his Mindscape where Belle talks to the different colors of him, gray, yellow, red, all of that. So he has a talk with the other colors of himself. That sounds weird. But yeah, so he talks to himself in the Mindscape, and certain phrasing that he does and the way he expresses what he thinks of magic, and he uses the word elemental, all elements, and they ask, how would you output your magic in a single force of a bullet, right? Like my Air Force flicks. So he comes out and he's on his bed because they went to the shops, got a grimoire, came back, and now he's in his room laying on his bed with the grimoire on his face. He takes the grimoire off and closes it. He sees that all the letters are all the words and letters are gone, and he goes to Riveria's room. He knocks on her door, and Riveria is like, "Wait 1 minute, I'm just changing," and he waits there for a minute. Well, a minute and a half. And she opens the door. It's like, you can come in now. He comes in and explains what he felt and what he went through in his mindscape. And she's shocked by the phrasings he used. And in the next day, they will go out and test the magic that he has. Just so that he doesn't destroy the mansion, they'll go down to the dungeon because it's getting pretty late. And obviously they had lunch out when they were doing their own thing. So he's gonna have elemental bullets, basically. So basically fire bullet, lightning bullet, whatever you want to call it, just so I don't have to make really long things like I did with the previous one, like phrasing certain things. I'm not gonna do incantations that project to his world, because then that's just gonna get complicated and then it just gets screwed over. But anyways, so they go to sleep, and the next day rolls up, and Ainz opens the door and wakes Deku up. Deku says, I'm not sure if you can hear that, but there's like a dee 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 in the background. Sorry about that. So he says, "What's up? It's getting. We need to wake up early so you can. What Riveria said, that we want you going to test out some new single phrase magic spells." And Deku says, yes, I bought a grimoire and got some short phrase magic. She's excited by this, wanting to know what he got. So he quickly gets his armor on while she waits outside. He comes out and asks, "So, are you ready?" Ainz says yes. And her being a little bit jealous of the previous day, she asks, "So, did you like your little date with Riveria?" And he's like, "Whoa, don't worry, that was not a date. We're just getting grimoire and some food because I was hungry. We were hungry." So, how was your day yesterday? Well, it was really nice. So nice and quiet with Bet, Gareth, and Finn out on or in the dungeon. But now they're home and it's getting a bit rowdy between Gareth and Bet. If you don't know who Gareth is, just watch the second season. Sort of Aratara, something. But anyways, so they start heading down and meet up with Riveria by the dungeon. The two getting to know each other on the way to Riveria, and they go down all three together. So, at first on the 10th level, that really misty place with all the trees, well, with all the desert, savanna looking trees. Yeah, those trees. I don't know why they chose to do those trees in the place. But anyway, so they come across a bunch of goblins. And Deku decides to use Wind Bullet. And he sends 15 air shots, wind shots into 14 different enemies. One missing because it's the first time he ever used them, and he didn't expect one of them to miss because the one goblin was in the back and he dodged it. The one in the back slowly walked away, trying to alert other monsters to back him up, like gang style. Yo, back me up, bro. So he brings along two ogres, him charging forward as he uses shoot style to kick the goblin's head off. And with the same foot, so he does a horizontal kick, kicking the head off. And as his foot lands on the ground the opposite way he was facing, he crouches, he goes down on the one leg and just launches himself towards the ogres and puts his feet on each side of each shoulder of the ogre looking up as he shoots fire bullets into his mouth, basically exploding him from the inside. And then he shouts an incantation that he learned from Riveria, basically a water blade from, I don't know, wherever you want to think of. So he shoots out a water blade and cuts the other ogre's head off. So they're pretty impressed by the skill he has by fighting. And just to let you know, because of the blessing from Loki, he can use up to 30%, because previously he went up to 20. So with the blessing now, he's gone up to 30. Well, the thing is, he is a level 3, so 30, yeah. So once they get done with moving on to the 11th and the 12th, and they finally reach the Minotaurs, as Deku uses full cowling shoot style to jump in between five or six different Minotaurs, and he spins around, spreading 50 or 60 different bullets of every single element: earth, wind, water, fire, electricity, light and darkness, and he shoots every single, well, all 5 or 6, whatever you want, and kills them all instantly. And Ainz is like, damn, that was an amazing attack. He used so many bullets. He's so skillful, she's thinking in her head, because she admires strength and strategy, you could say. So she walks up to him as the rest of their, well, Riveria picks up the Minotaur stones, and she asks him, how are you such a good strategist? He turns around and says, oh, when I was a child, I used to research a lot of pro heroes from my world, and I came up with strategies to do things with. I always wondered what it would be like to have a quirk of my own, but I guess that it's amazing now that I have a quirk and I have magic. I feel like getting a quirk later in my life and getting used to it helped me become more of a fast learner to learn how to use a quirk or later in life than having it from the age of 4 and up. So yeah, I guess I'm just a quick learner because I adapted to learning fast with the new quirk that I just got. Like, not even 2 years ago. Well, no, not even a year ago. I'm just getting confused because whatever. So, they start heading up. They get their reward, and it is the Monsterphilia. No, it's not the Monsterphilia. It's where the gods banquet happens. So they all say, well, a couple days later, once they go on different dungeon missions and they, say goodbye to Loki for the day, or a few days, I'm not sure how long it lasted, but they decide to chill out for a few days and socialize with other familia, aka their Deku's just gonna go to the guild and ask for where Belle's familia lives. Because he's like, I'd like to train someone. I feel like it's part of the quirk to train people how to use it, but I feel a sense of knowledge and more of a teaching feeling right now. Maybe it's the absence of a teacher in my life, because I used to have so many teachers to teach me different things: combat, math, languages, all sorts. So he's getting that nostalgic feeling of becoming a teacher to Baal. He wants to make sure that he leaves an imprint in everybody that he meets. He wants to make sure everyone can get stronger, so everyone can protect the people they love. And he's heard from the hostess of fertility, I think that was the bar's name, that he heard some good things about Belle, how he's a kind young boy. And so he was like, why don't I help him out? He seems nice. So he goes to the guild and asks for where his familia lives. And he's shocked to hear that it's in the ruins, in the ruins of a church. So he heads over there and knocks on the door. And as he's waiting there for a good 30 seconds, someone comes out, and it's Belle. I think it was just Belle back then. No supporter yet. So then that happens. Sorry. Coke. 0. So, they talk a bit. He asks, what are your abilities? I feel like I can help you out. He has notes. He can help people out, So, they talk for a while, and he offers to train him. So, him being trained, like actually being trained to fight, is coming earlier. Well, he's gonna train him, but then later on, I'll bring in Ainz for sword fighting. But anyway, So it's basically just gonna be him asking, "Do you want to train with me?" And Belle's like, "Do you really want to train someone like me?" You know, having a bit of a low confidence because he doesn't have his precious uh, Hestia to love him, you know, because she's at the banquet. And he's like, "Of course, I'm literally your age, but I'm pretty sure I'm smarter and stronger. But there's one thing you should know about me. I strive to make sure everyone is safe and save people with a smile. Just remember that I will help anyone out in need. Okay?" Belle says thank you and when do you want to train? And it's like, "We can do it right now outside the church." So Deku basically just does physical training to try and get his strength up, trying to build some muscle because he's pretty thin, if you know what I'm talking about. So the few days go by, and he's gonna be a bit stronger than in Canon Bell. And because of him actually training with someone, Deku's gonna be able to use 32% without any significant damage at all. So Deku's always trying to see where his limit is and see where his breaking point is. Not going overboard, but just trying to see his absolute maximum. Because of his blessing, he's gaining a lot more out of training, so he's gonna be stronger. But anyway, so when the gods come back and Deku says, "Well, I'll leave you to you, and if you ever need training, I'll be by the houses of utility, asking some questions, having a few drinks and some food. You can find me there if you want. Most probably by dinner or lunch, depending on the day." So he says his farewells and leaves Belle at the church and goes back and gets his stats updated by Loki. Loki's like, "Ooh, you grew a lot." Not, no, not like that. No, if you, no. I just, yeah, no. "But you grew a lot stronger, haven't you?" She says, "I can level you up to a level 4 right now if you want." And he's like, "Wait, really? I've grown that much? Well, do it. I'm psyched for this level up. To think, I came here just a few weeks ago, just like 2 weeks ago, and already level 4. Well, you are a fast learner and very strong. It's no... There's no way that you would be weak and cannot get stronger faster. After all, you are more experienced than others, and you know how to train." Her just complimenting him so he has a bit more self-esteem, you know? And then he goes back to his room, where he finds Ainz outside of his room. And he says, "Why don't you come inside? We can talk inside." So they both go into his room. And they talk for a bit, and things get more romantic. Yes, this is going to be a Deku Eins Wallenstein ship. Well, I'm not sure. I'll decide in future episodes if I'm ever bring him back to uh, My Hero Academia, but whatever. So, when that happens, it gets from romantic to a bit of a hot and steamy night. Don't worry, they didn't do anything. It's like the first time they ever expressed their feelings. Bit of kissing, just some sorts like that. I have like my cousin and my brother that knows about this channel, so I'm not gonna go into 18 plus detail, unfortunately. But yeah, so that happens, and the next day rolls by, and this is gonna be longer than I expected, but anyway. So once they get out of bed and get their equipment on, and they go downstairs to a lot of their familia talking and actually being in the mansion, which is strange. They are planning a dungeon raid in a few days. No, that's not gonna happen. No. In a few weeks. So he's just preparing them to try and get some equipment and potions and food and some training in, so they can be ready for the next dungeon raid. Everyone disperses, and so the next day, tomorrow, will be the Monsterphilia, the Gigatia, I think it's the Gigatia Familia, holds the Monsterphilia with all the monsters, and the monster attack happens. So, cut back to the previous day where we are in the present. They go out and they get themselves on a date. And at this time, Hestia is at Hephaestus, working on the blade. Well, yeah, working on the blade. And then the whole incident with the dungeon advisor and Belle going out for a shopping trip, and all of that happens as canon. I'm not gonna change this series so much, just gonna make him a little stronger. And I'm not so creative that I'm gonna make an entirely new Belle series. But yeah. So, Deku and Ainz are on a date, basically, which they're gonna go on another date on the next day. But yeah, so that happens. They get some food, and while they are going back after their whole date, basically near nighttime, and they go to the hostess of fertility, where Bet, Gareth, Riveria, and the usual gang of Loki Familia are. And they join up with uh, Bell just going back to doing his normal thing in his canon, not going to the hostess of fertility. So they're just talking, and Riveria brings up why were they together, and Ainz, for once in her entire career or life, has a bit more blush than just light blush. Her cheeks. Oh god. Her cheeks are red. Tomato red. And Deku is covering his face in embarrassment. And Finn tunes up and is like, oh, it's like that. And Ainz slams the table. It's like, let's not talk about this. And then Bet's like, not too drunk, but it's like, he slams the mug down on the table. It's like, of course we're going to talk about this. Are you two dating? And it's like, we've only known each other for a few weeks. Give us a little more time, jeez. So, you guys are thinking about it. Finn adds. And Deku's like, how about we save this conversation for when things actually happen? Him trying to fight his embarrassment and defuse the situation. Gareth calms Bet down because he's getting a little too drunk. And Finn backs off, knowing that he can't win a fight, but against someone that has more knowledge over a lot of things, because he's from a different world with more advanced learnings. So they bring up, Deku brings up that Bell kid. Well, Bell. And he was like, I've been trained for when the gods and goddesses were at the banquet. I was training this kid named Bell. And Ainz tilts her head, is like, what does he look like? And he answers with, remember that kid that was attacked by the Minotaur that I saved? And I was like, oh, that kid. I was thinking maybe in a few weeks we could train him together, you know? But that's for another week or day. So they head back and they basically go to sleep in the same bedroom, but in Ainz's room, because plot. Blame plot. Yeah, they just, instead of going to his room, they go to her room. So I'm just gonna end it off there, because this is getting very long, and I want to leave it for another day for the monstrophilia and the training. And I would like to thank everyone for staying until the end. Sorry for all my pauses. I've been drinking some Coca-Cola and I've been burping quite a lot, and I had a bit of a workout. But thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.